The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Oh, it's Monday, the 6th day of February, 2023. Welcome to the Daily Hour. This is Bermuda's Daily Talk Show brought to you by Medical House, One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamel Hartman. She's Sancha Durham. And Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sancha, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How are you?
I'm just finishing my banana. Don't worry. Don't worry about me.
Got it. Looks like it's tasty.
Yeah, it was very good. It's very good. Did you see the Grammys last night?
I didn't.
Well, see, I haven't watched an award show in so long, because usually, I'm on Twitter looking at my football for the weekend and following up on all the complaints and bogus red cards against Manchester United. But anyway, I said, well, let me look into this since this Beyonce is going to be on and just announce some tour or something, and people are going crazy talking about not paying the rent and whatever.
I know, right?
Yeah. And I don't know, the Grammys just ain't for me.
It hasn't been for me for a while, and I'm surprised that I guess Beyonce is using it to her advantage. But I remember it was a time where it's like they all said, oh, they don't really respect the Grammys.
Yeah.
And so I went through a period where I just stopped watching it because every single time I look at the people that are nominated and the people that actually win, and I'm just like, this is bogus. I'm not doing this anymore. So I stopped watching it. So even though I knew it was on, no.
I'm surprised, actually. What did you do this weekend? Did you do any
We beat you. So my son Maddox, who plays football, is actually pretty good at football. Went down to North Village, and but you know what? Might I add, this has been a rough season, and this is their first win for the season.
First win of the season, and it's against us.
Yes, and Maddox put 2 in the net.
Referee must be a Thomas fan, but anyway.
Mind you, we went to the game yesterday, and you will put some licks in us too.
Yeah. The men get you back. Yeah. We'll get you back up top. Well, you know what I did this weekend? I went to Boys to Men concert.
Nice.
And, you all know I'm a big Boys to Men. It was actually a Christmas gift for me. But I had a little buck seat sitting up there, and back in the day, I mean, I'm an old school R&B guy. If you know me, that's my tune. Like, it's crazy. Like, there ain't many concerts I can go to and sing every song word for word like I could have Boys to Men. But what was so interesting, and it's a sign of the times, but man, it was like gotta be 70% white people there, right? And they were rocking, they were jamming, man. They loved it. It was a good time. I mean, mind you, it is South Florida too. So.
Nice. I love to go to a Boys to Men concert.
You've seen them before?
I feel like I have, but years ago.
Yeah.
Years and years ago.
Yeah. Good morning to you too, Auntie Karen Simmons. All right, so let's get to it. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We have a good one today, a very good one today, and we're going to discuss what we can learn from the latest BELCO blackout before focusing on alternative energy, right? The daily play is a Who Said It? And then just a reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you've registered to become a member of the TDH community. Just fill out the application on our website, thedailyhour.com, or through our YouTube by hitting the join button. We have a lot of rewarding things happening this month that you don't want to miss. So also, while you're on the website, don't forget to subscribe and follow us on all of our social media channels. All right. We are going to announce 2 winners today. Again, those 2 winners are members of our TDH community. So if you're not a member of the TDH community, unfortunately, you probably didn't have your name in the hat to win. But people who, well, you know what? We'll give one away when Maya's right before her news break, and then we'll give one away later on in the show. But this past weekend's question on our Facebook was, which one of us went to school with Premier David Burt? And then the question the week before was, which of the hosts did a show with me prior to the daily hour? So most of you got the questions right, but that's what we'll be giving away.
I don't know the answer to that.
Which one?
To the first one, who went to school?
So it wasn't you?
Well, I hope he didn't put on a skirt and come to VHS.
Well, hey. It wasn't Central. So, folks, if you haven't answered and you're a TDH member, you want to win, you still got time, I guess, because you eliminated process of elimination. You eliminated Central. But let's get to the question this morning. So, I guess according to Burn News, we had a blackout back in December 2020, and on Friday there was another BELCO blackout. And it's just interesting the way people respond. I've learned so much about Bermudians over the last 3 days, and I'm not quite sure what I've learned is, how can I put it, a good thing. I'm not quite sure what I've learned is a good thing. So we put the question on our Instagram page yesterday, and basically the question was, what can we learn? And that's going to be the question today, everyone. What can we learn from the BELCO blackout, right? And let's go through some of the responses, because one particular response really, I guess it's almost like, okay, let's go through it. So the question again was, what can we learn from Bermuda's latest BELCO blackout, right? And this response says, cannot control the uncontrollables. Sancha, was it a natural disaster?
It felt like it. You were not here.
No, but
it wasn't. No, but it felt like it.
But it's not a natural disaster.
It could have been controlled. It could have been controlled. Point.
So I'm just like, when you say cannot control the uncontrollables, it almost makes it seem like this is a cultural problem is almost becoming that, okay, so no accountability because Vin just came through and knocked everything out. No. Folks, we got to change our mindset. That answer, I'm sorry, whoever put it, cannot control the uncontrollables. That's ridiculous. Okay, let's go to a next one. The next one was, again, the question was, what can we learn from Bermuda's latest BELCO blackout? When homes and businesses are experiencing power surges, prepare for a potential blackout. Help me understand that. Anybody?
I don't
understand that.
Say it again. When homes or businesses,
when homes and businesses are experiencing power surges, prepare for a potential blackout. What? I don't understand that. Another one said that Bermuda needs more sustainable options available, not rely on this monopoly. I agree. And we'll get to that later on in terms of solutions for Bermuda's energy. I definitely get that. Another one says we actually have no control in this thing called life. Again, this is controllable. This is not a natural disaster. This isn't an earthquake. This is not a hurricane. It's not a tornado. It's not a thunderstorm. This is controllable. I'm not understanding the skirting of accountability. We actually have no control in this thing called life. That's okay. So someone goes out there and shoots someone else. Well, actually, we have no control in this thing called life. That's what you sound like. I'm sorry. All right. Another one. What can we learn from Bermuda's latest BELCO blackout, that buildings need to upgrade their emergency exit plans. Well, what this makes me think of is I hope no one was in an elevator at that time.
Yeah.
I
It
really
was
hope not.
it was funny when it happened. I was on my way into Hamilton, and as we drove through Hamilton, this is what I'm saying. It actually felt dark and dreary and scary because everyone was standing outside of their buildings, and it made me think automatically like their emergency exit. Like how did that happen, or were they versed in where we should go and what we should do? I thought about the elevators, and then it was just police sirens
Mm,
everywhere,
mm, mm, mm,
everywhere, and you're like, what? It felt really scary. It
mm. Well, exit plans, folks. That's what that person says. Another person, what can we learn from Bermuda's latest BELCO blackout? Says solar panels are worth the investment. Well, yeah, that's a good one. We'll talk more about that. What can we learn from Bermuda's latest blackout? Someone says, why does BELCO still rely on fossil fuel? And then round it out with, what can we learn from Bermuda's latest BELCO blackout? This person plainly puts that monopolies are bad. So let's go to the audience. What do you all think? What can we learn from the BELCO blackout? Live audience, what can we learn from the BELCO blackout? What are your thoughts? We got David Michael R. Wilson, who says, having a sole provider of a particular source shows that this dependency can either make or break us. I just find it interesting that after all these years, we still have one provider. Now, I don't know what that looks like, that agreement. Is it a 100-year guarantee? Like, what does that look like? But it's kind of crazy when you think of it. It's something that I don't even, well, then again, businesses are in it to make a profit, generate revenue. So not quite sure. Karen Simmons says, I was 1 minute from getting off an elevator when it happened. I would have been devastated. No small spaces for me. Folks, that's the first thing that came to mind for me. And I didn't want to say it because you just never know whose family may be in there. But I was just thinking about people in elevators. I don't take elevators. Anyone knows me, I'm going to get my steps in. Now, New York, when I worked in New York City, that was a different animal. That was a different animal. Like you've got 20, and more to go up. You're probably not going to do that as much as you would where I work now. It's 8 flights, 4 floors, right? But folks, being stuck in a small space, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kenton Trott says, good morning, TDH. One thing I learned is I need to get the solar power that I have been putting off for so long. What can we learn from the BELCO blackout? Folks, at the end of the day, there was some interesting responses, Sandra. People saying that so grateful for BELCO. Oh, thank you to the workers, this and that. And I'm just like, I don't care if my father, my late mother, my sister, my brother, if I had one, my closest friend works at BELCO. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Accountability is a must. Accountability is a must. And if we don't hold people accountable, I don't believe in thanking people for doing their job. A friend of mine said the other day, it's just like, I just don't get why we celebrate normality. Mm-hmm. People were doing stuff they're supposed to. There's nothing heroic about doing the right thing. But here we are. Something shuts down. We haven't even spoken about what it meant for businesses, small businesses. What can we learn about it? Not every small business can afford a generator. I mean, a small business, people have appointments, they have things going on. What about those who may have had crucial doctor's appointments?
Yeah.
This is deep. It's deeper than just not having Wi-Fi and social media. This is bigger than some people saying, oh, well, I just went and read a book, so it was just a 5 hours without electricity. There are people with life-changing things that could have happened. And while, it's only fair because we got a statement from the regulatory authority. Well, Sancha, I know you had the article. Let me go to our chat. So BELCO basically said a transformer fault, right? So this, according to the Gazette, says BELCO will likely be told to put in place robust changes to how it ensures a reliable energy supply in the wake of Friday's island-wide power outage, the independent energy regulator said yesterday. BELCO is said to have traced the cause of the power outage to a fault within a voltage transformer in its power plant. All right? Now, I don't know what that means, folks. I don't speak BELCO, right? Well, let's go to the RA. That's the authority that oversees them. So they released a press release last night. Sancho's not opening on my phone. Can you open it? It's not opening for me. It's not opening for me. Give me a chance, folks. The regular authority. It's live. It's live. We're live right directly. So forgive us. Forgive us. Mine's funny. I don't know if I can repeat it. But it's right. Like, you don't praise a fish for fishing, right? Businesses had to close. We need to think long and hard on this. We need to stop making excuses. While Sancho pulls that out, let me just go back to the comments. What can we learn from the BELCO blackout? Tanya Cheeseman says what it meant for people who have a medical condition that rely on electricity. Like, what did it mean for them? Michael R. Wilson says, I was in a telemedicine conference. We're not thinking about stuff like this. Oh, stop thinking so shallow. This was a serious situation that should not happen. Sancha, you got the regulatory authority up?
I do.
Okay.
So on Friday afternoon, every Bermuda resident experienced the sudden and unexpected loss of electricity. The regulatory authority is Bermuda's independent regulator over the electricity sector and recognizes what Bermuda's residents have experienced, and we are working with BELCO to reduce the likelihood of future events. Risks to life and I'm sorry, it's so small.
It's so small. I'm looking at it up now.
Risks to life and limb are the primary concern with such incidents, and the RA is pleased to know there were no reported harm to anyone. We can confirm that BELCO notified the RA, as it's required to do, to keep up abreast of developments throughout the restoration process. This included efforts to restore power to critical infrastructure, such as the hospital in Hamilton, plus updates until the last main circuit was restored.
So basically, the RA is holding BELCO accountable, right? They will be holding them accountable. That writing is so small on my phone, by the way. I'm literally, and I'm, unlike Sancha, I don't have an extra pair of eyes normally. So, but they're holding them accountable. But what I mean, yes, people say, oh, well, a business should have a generator. The hospital has generators. So at the end of the day, folks, when people, you got to remember, think about it like this here. I was once told about that big hotel on the hill in Southampton. Said, think about the amount that they pay for electricity. This should not and cannot be happening. This is a matter of life and death. And like the RA said, we are happy to hear that there were no major incidents.
Yeah.
As a small business, Sancha, speak to us.
So, you're right. Not everybody can afford to have generators. Like, it's just not in the budget. Luckily, Scoops had a generator because we can't let all the ice cream melt. And you know what we had to do? We actually had it was crazy. Extension cords and power cords running to try to make sure that people still were able to receive their services, because people were showing up. In that time, they were like, I don't want to be home. I don't want to be stuck in here with no electricity. And we're trying to do by any means necessary, to accommodate people, but it becomes frustrating. It really does. And on a whole, we have to look at alternative measures, right? Um, the government needs to step back and say, okay, like how long have we been relying on BELCO?
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I feel like we're looking for something to do with that big space up in Dockyard. Why don't we put some windmills up there, or you know what I mean? Like we need to look at other options. You know, solar panels. They should at this. I don't know how much they cost. I know they are an investment, but it seems as if at this point it's probably a investment that's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
If because Jamal, honestly, it was I had Maddox, my son Maddox in the back of my car, like, mommy, what's going on? It was scary. And
Mm-hmm.
the thought of we don't know when the first thing was like, well, we don't know what happened and when it's coming back on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're thinking like, okay, it's Friday, it's a weekend, and I'm gonna be stuck in this house trying to entertain this kid
Mm-hmm.
who, you know, it just it was very inconvenient. And now when we talk about people with medical conditions, when I was listening to the updates and they were like, anyone that has a medical condition, please go to the hospital. And
But the hospital can only take so many
oh,
people.
what about the people that live alone, that don't have a car, that can't get there? That what about those people that don't have a village taking care of them and looking out for them?
I
That's
just
scary.
it is, and Sancha, honestly, I'm glad you're going there right now, because it really hurt me to see people thinking this was just about not having electricity and Wi-Fi. My first thought as a person, as an individual, was, man, what about those who need medical services? No, I had a little joke. I was like, you know, why does my favorite Teddy Pendergrass song, Turn Out the Lights, come to mind? And that was aimed at the people on my social media complaining about Wi-Fi and internet, right? But truthfully, I'm thinking like, man, knowing that, how people, the space we're in, need certain services, it's something that cannot happen, should not happen. And my hope is that, I don't know if fines will do the job. What will it take to ensure this does not happen again? And to anyone and everyone who has that attitude, I don't care who you are, but if you have the attitude, oh, things happen or it's beyond our control, please, and I say this respectfully, do not be that person.
Yeah.
This was not a natural disaster.
I want to make light of it really quickly. Did you see the barbers? Did you see pictures and videos of the barbers? They bought their chairs outside. I saw like maybe 4 different barbershops. They bought their chairs outside and they were actually cutting hair on the sidewalk in
Oh,
the
really?
street. Yes.
That's
They were
creative.
like, we're gonna get this today.
Maya's waving us on. Let's bring Maya in before she cuts our hair off. Well, I don't have much, but show us those pictures. Direct us, Central, because that's pretty cool. I like the
It
innovation.
would. Yeah, I know luxury cuts.
Some people didn't want to get caught mid-cut. Nah, half a haircut. Let's bring Maya Palacio in, folks. Stick with us.
Good morning, guys.
Well, hello, Maya. How are you?
I'm feeling great, and I really like this discussion about what did this actually teach us, and what do we know? Because honestly, I'll be real to say that my first thought didn't even go to the medical care system. My first thought was like, oh, the traffic lights are out too, like that. That was my first thought.
And people already drive crazy, so like no traffic lights.
Can I say you should have seen the police trying to direct? No disrespect, but they need more training in that aspect
No,
because it was a disaster.
Oh man,
maybe we need to get somebody down birdcage to kind of do it so they can be prepared, like rotate some people down there, because the way it's been going, BELCO, we could expect this every couple of years. Hopefully not. I guess, I mean, Maya, what were you hearing in your spaces from people? Like, how did people feel about it?
Well, definitely, if you go to Twitter, jokes more than anything about the situation. Twitter definitely knows how to make light of a situation, which is also, great to have when you're stressed out. But that was the main consensus with whatever I saw on my social media page. Actually put up a couple of tweets because I did find some of them to be very lighthearted and funny. One was, "Why did my mama call me making off thinking I didn't pay her BELCO bill? She needs to apologize." I thought that was super funny. And I don't know, BELCO, after this little stunt, end of the month looking a little 50% offish, So
They would. I did see one. I think somebody shared it in the TDH group, talking about BELCO taking Black History Month a little too seriously.
serious.
That one, that was a good one. Yeah. But honestly, and again, I'm all good with people making light of it, having fun with it. I just think the shallow thought that is like, oh, people upset because they don't have Wi-Fi or electricity. I'm like, I don't think that's it. And even if it was, some people need Wi-Fi and electricity to do their job, their livelihood. So even if they were upset because of that, but I don't know.
For me, I barely even had data when I went off. I don't know why, but I couldn't have data because I was at work at the time, and when it all shut off, you still have customers in the store. It was basically pitch black because of how we are, and so we had to turn the generators to try to save the fish at least. Okay, we got to save the fish, and we got to save the frozen food. Couldn't we turn the lights? And we were using people's data on the phones who would work, mine didn't, to try to operate one register at least to do the cash flow because we couldn't do the card flow. It was a lot. It was a lot going on, not gonna lie. I was a bit stressed.
But I saw not one post. I saw not one post about people talking about small business and business. And I'm just like, even that, just mentioning that today is like, folks, businesses lost 5 hours.
Yeah.
On a Friday. Isn't that a busy day for most business?
That is a busy day. We had to turn customers away, but I can understand, like, during the time, it almost felt like nobody showed up after like 30 minutes because everyone was dealing with their own personal situation.
Yeah.
Let's go through these quick 3 comments before you jump in the news break. Kenton Trott said, I had to go to the hospital that afternoon, and there were people at KEMH that had their oxygen plugged in the lobby because they had no electricity at their home. That is so sad. Nicole Walker says, my first concern was my great aunt who was in the midst of her at-home dialysis. See, more medical. And then Karen Simmons says, I was going to a medical procedure when it happened and will now be delayed until March due to the blackout. Frustrated. See, folks, I didn't know any of this, but it was one of the first things that came to mind for me because, again, it is fun and jokes when it's not to do with you, but this is why one thing I will say we can learn is that this should not happen. I heard that the children were debating or arguing about it in the House of Assembly on Friday as well. So I don't know. What you got for us today, Maya?
Well, good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. And I want to start the news with kind of some happy, feel-good news. So this is really good, I'm assuming, for the family. Indeed, over the weekend, not even after an hour after a missing persons notice was released, 73-year-old Mr. Melvin Mouchette located safe and well. So please thank the public for their assistance in that.
Good to hear.
And then moving on with more electrical news, I guess you could say. Last Friday, Minister Wayne Furbert announced and let the public know that 30 electrical buses and blue public buses arrived on our shores last spring, marking an historic achievement for Bermuda in the protection of natural resources on climate change and environmental issues. He continued saying that the operating the electric buses has caused the government to realize a 20% savings in fuel costs, translated to upwards of $15K per month. In the last 9 months, the government has saved an estimated $135,000 in fuel costs, enough to fund a brand new electric bus.
Well, here's the thing. That electrical bus will still need a charge up. And if BELCO's got a blackout going on, it could have impacted the electric buses. I'm just saying.
Very true, yes. In other news, as the COVID virus continues to grow and have different variants, so do the treatments. There is now an oral COVID-19 antiviral and therapeutics. I'm probably going to mess up these pronunciations, I apologize, but Paxlovid and Molnupiravir available in Bermuda. These all antivirals are available by prescription only from a physician in a press statement from the government.
So what is it? It's not a vaccine. It's if you get COVID or COVID prevention.
Yes. So if you test positive for COVID, and I was reading an article on another site this morning, basically 3 days after with taking Paxlovid after you've gotten symptoms, apparently that's actually helped over 89% of people avoid the hospital, according to Pfizer's testing. And then also molnupiravir, gotta learn these pronunciations, actually used 5 days after taking symptoms, and that helped to stop like 30% of hospitalizations and death. The Paxlovid is supposed to be for persons 12 years and older, and the Malunu is for persons of 18 years and older.
Do your thing. I can't pronounce simple 3-letter words, so do your thing.
That was actually quite difficult. Next up on the list, the Daily Mail Clinic. I know we had them on the show probably like a few weeks ago, maybe days ago even. Well, I went to the very first opening that was at the BIU building on Saturday, and here is a clip for you guys. It's really long, but it's really great because I got to speak to some of the men that actually went there, and they got to talk to me about why the reasons that people might even think that men don't care about their health.
Well, I want to get my prostate checked. I brought a friend of mine that doesn't seem to go to the doctor at all, so I came to make sure he came.
On Saturday, February 4th, the Daily Mail held the first free clinic for men 60 years and older. The clinic opened at 9 a.m., and before 8:50, there were already 15 men waiting in the lobby of the BIU building, clearly demonstrating that men do care about their health, but living in paradise does come with a price most cannot afford.
It is not that we don't care about ourselves and our health, but it's the costs attached sometimes and not being able to meet those demands sometimes.
The free clinic, started by Dr. Macanjola and third-year medical student Jade Robinson, is a 6-month pilot program with over 60 volunteers. Every first Saturday of each month, they will set up a clinic in different locations around the island. The hope is to find out if the clinic needs to be extended.
If we do have extremely high rates in prostate cancer just from the screening, what we want to do is prolong the clinic so that we can reach more men. The clinic is aimed to reach about 100 to 150 men. However, that number is not statistically significant to the Bermuda population. We would have to reach within the thousands to see if it's statistically significant and if this is actually working. So what we're doing is also a feedback questionnaire for the men to explain their service for that day. It asks their questions on healthcare access and seeing if it actually does a behavior change or if they would recommend someone to come to the next clinic. So that way we're not only gathering results from medical aspect, but we're also getting their feedback on what do they think about the Daily Mail and if it's actually made a difference for them.
And day one proved that the clinic is a necessity because over 40 men appeared to be screened.
And how do you feel about the amount of men that are already here before 9 o'clock?
I'm actually impressed. I didn't expect that, but I am impressed. I hope that's the situation everywhere you go.
Oh yeah, it's impressive to see the number of brothers that are here before 9. I know I had made up my mind that I would be here because I knew that I felt that there would be a barrage of gentlemen here, and so it's so sad, so true, and it's very impressed, to see that there are men who are concerned because the belief is out there that we're not concerned, but we are. So here we are.
Sean Haywood, I know him, and I'm glad people like that with that kind of influence showed up. Congratulations and thankful to, is it Jade?
Yeah, Jade Robinson.
Jade Robinson, future Dr. Jade Robinson and Dr. Macanjola. I did retweet it and share it on my social media platforms, and I think we need to get behind these kind of things. These are things that people create GoFundMes for, right? So props to Dr. Macanjola, and I'm looking forward to supporting the work that he's continuing to do in the community.
Yes, definitely. And this program, the next one is actually going to be March 4th at St. George's Cricket Club. And it starts at 9 a.m. But clearly, gentlemen do get there earlier to make sure they secure their spot because there is a 25-man capacity. But they don't turn men away. They will write your name down and give you first priority for the next clinic. So here's hoping that, a lot of men take that opportunity for the next one, as it seems like it's a necessity.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah. What else you got for us?
Well, I was closing out with some BELCO news that you guys spoke heavily about this morning, but just informing everyone that the police officers just want to thank the community for their help while they tried to get traffic along the way, and also stating that they are happy to announce that there was only like a few minor collisions, but nothing too serious or strenuous. So that was the update there.
How's the weather looking?
The weather today is looking cloudy, developing a bit of rain showers in the afternoon, and even the likelihood of thunder today. So it's not looking like a good day, everyone. I'm so sorry to hear that. And it's going to be some gusts of storm forces and hurricane forces during the afternoon, and winds that are going to veer very strongly westerly. And we have a high of 71 degrees Fahrenheit, but obviously it's going to feel a lot cooler with all the wind.
All righty. Sancho, what's the days of the year?
Today is National Sickie Day.
Sickie.
For those who woke up feeling like not going to work would not be a bad idea, you're not alone. This is a day that many people call off, pull a sickie, call in sick, or play hooky because they simply don't want the weekend to end, and they don't want to go to work, even if they're actually not sick. I feel like pulling a sickie today. And the weather is, listen, you know who's actually trying to pull a sickie today?
Who?
My son Maddox.
Ooh.
School's out this week.
Don't tell on him.
School is out this week, and he's like, I'm not going to camp. He's still inside watching TV, relaxing.
Oh, I ain't knocking it, brother. What's the date today? Is it February 6th?
Today?
Yeah. So it's Bob Marley's birthday, I think, then. February 6th. Let me Google. I think
Yes. Why not? I'm listening to for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's Bob Marley's birthday. Yeah.
It is.
So he was born 1945. That makes him 78.
Don't do that to me. I'm not good at math. I use a calculator for everything.
Maya, look, I just picked it up.
I'm like, I'm a writer and a journalist. I did not do math, but I have to. I don't like it.
And you said 1954?
1945?
1945.
78, yeah.
70. Man, I'm getting good at this numbers thing. Happy 78th birthday to Bob Marley. And that said, what's your favorite Bob Marley song?
There's so many.
Mine is Buffalo Soldier, definitely. Yeah, and my mama used to say that Bob Marley was her second husband, and she used to actually. So yeah, I used to listen to him almost every single Sunday. Every time we were in the car, she had all the CDs out.
What's your favorite one, Sandra?
I like War, the horn section in that.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I think mine is Black Man Redemption. Black Man Redemption is my favorite Bob Marley song. Audience, let us know what your favorite Bob Marley song is. And before you go, I got a joke.
Man, we'll leave it on such a positive note. I was like happy and giddy, and I was like,
this is in honor of Maddox. This is in honor of the Mad Dog who's watching the Daily Hour, hopefully, right, Charles? All right, here we go. What do you get if you have strep throat on a Friday?
Oh goodness, if you have strep throat on a Friday.
Hurry, you can't really talk. It's a Friday before the weekend. Nothing's coming to mind.
Saturday Night Fever. Have a great day, Maya.
Bye.
Folks, the crowd just went crazy. They just went crazy. Maya Palacio, folks, if you appreciate the first part of this show, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Let us know in the audience what's your favorite Bob Marley tune. Happy 78th birthday today to the late, great Bob Marley. We're going to be back after this quick break, and we're going to be talking about what are some solutions to Bermuda's energy problem. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Black Man Redemption. It was another one that I had too. If I think about it, I'll let you know when I come back.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Sancha Durham, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, if you don't or you haven't, please make sure you registered to become a member of the TDH community. Just fill out the application on our website, thedailyhour.com, or you can just join via YouTube by hitting the join button. We have a lot of rewarding things happening this month that you'll be made aware of. Well, TDH members will be via email in the coming days, if not weeks. Well, let's give our first prize away. So the question last weekend was who did a show with me prior to the Daily Hour. That was Larry Marshall Jr. We did Pure Sports Radio. So Faith DeRosa Gilks, you are the winner. Congratulations to you. I'm trying to find that. There we go. There you go. Give Faith. Let's congratulate Faith DeRosa Gilks. She got it right. So Faith DeRosa Gilks, congratulations. And we'll give away this past weekend. So Faith DeRosa Gilks, please send us an email, engage@thedailyhour.com. You will get a $50 gift certificate to a one of our partners of your choice. So that can be Lindo's, Medical House, People's Pharmacy, One Communications. So just hit us up and we will get it to you. Favorite Bob Marley song before we went to break. We've got Three Little Birds, Marquita Lee. B. Denise Hollis says, No Woman, No Cry. Rosalind Famous says, Iron Lion as Zion. Iron like a lion in Zion. Yeah, I like that one. Sherry Vanderpool said, of course, she said Crazy Bald Head. I feel like she's taking a shot at me. Yeah. Dave Michael R. Wilson says Three Little Birds. We've got Nicole Walker, Redemption Song. This was my other one, Jah Live. That's my second favorite. Sean DeShields, Jah Live. Is This Love? Renee Simmons. Media Maya says, I changed my mind. Crazy Bald Heads, definitely. One Love, Karen Simmons. No Woman, No Cry, Marcia, Robin Patrice Bradshaw. Sonia Clark, Babylon System. Sam Cat plays Natural Mystic. And Diane Elliott says Three Little Birds. Everyone, honestly, there's so many, as Sancha said. I mean, you can, I mean, Bob Marley is it. You know, to me, I think it's really between him and Michael Jackson, where their hits will, they go across generations. You will hear their music for generations. So happy birthday again to the late, great Bob Marley. 78 he would have been today. Let's go back to the second part of the show. The second question today, focus is going to be, what are some solutions to Bermuda's energy? What do you believe? And people have mentioned solar. I'm honest, folks. This is not my space. This is not my area of expertise. As I tell you all the time, I'm not an expert at nothing. But what are your thoughts? Like, what are some solutions to Bermuda's energy? What is it? Everyone should have a generator? Is it we need to create legislation where someone can compete with BELCO? Is it everyone needs to go towards solar? Is it BELCO should be forced to get windmills? Like, what is the solution to Bermuda's energy problem? That's your question right now.
I think that all in all, obviously, we need to move towards renewable energy, but not just because we're having blackouts, but I also think that we need to start looking at climate change as well. I mean, you look in that area, the amount of soot and stuff that we talked about that's going on the roof. There are so many reasons why we need another solution. And I don't think it should just be, oh, because we had a blackout. At this point, there's not many great things coming from this solution, right? And we need to do better. We're a small island, and you look at the rate of like unhealthy people when we talk about cancer and all of those things, and I feel like we need other solutions. We can do better.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sanchez. It's not just about the blackout. Let's be clear. This question is not just about the blackout. It is about the climate, right? It is about sustainability.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. And I think we speak a lot about this stuff, but Sanchez mentioned last week she has a hybrid car. Does it mean that legislation needs to be passed so that, you know, the same thing that they've done with plastics? You know, I'll be very honest with you. I use my own bags when I go to the grocery store now, little things. You know, how they, we had KBB on and they were talking about going from plastics, and, you know, people were online complaining because Linda's went to plastic bags, right? And I mean, everyone in the US does plastic bags, but they do it to encourage you, put the onus on you to just purchase your own bags, and you can use them. That's what I do now. So what, you know, when it comes to solutions, what can we do? Is it going to take us, when our MPs come on our doorstep, to get them to change legislation? Or is it going to take us to say, you know what, forget politics, let's put our own solar in place, or let's purchase electric cars? Now, some people may say, well, I can't afford that. Then is it back on the MP and the legislation? So again, I don't think any solution's a bad idea at this point, but we have to change something, Sanjay.
Yeah. I saw in the news recently, I can't remember where it was, but they're like giving like huge discounts if you get electric cars. And you know what I mean? Because it's better for the environment. Maybe it's something like that. We find a way where I feel like government takes up the cost for everything else, right? And they can't afford it. At this point, it's necessary for our health, for our living.
Yeah, I agree. Traveling Trotty, she says, we as a country need to diversify our energy sources. Well, I think that should be obvious to everyone, I think. You know, I mean, we cannot be so reliant on BELCO. It's just, again, I just mentioned sustainability. We can't. Mark Arthur C. Phillips, Central.
There's no way BELCO can charge what they charge and have the issues that they are having issues. They need to be held accountable.
So what are the solutions? What are some solutions to Bermuda's energy? What do you believe needs to happen? Again, this is not just about the blackout. We spoke about the blackout earlier. What are some solutions to Bermuda's energy situation? You know, climate-wise, I know that the Minister of Energy, Walter Urban, you know, comes out with a new press release every few months about something that ministry is doing. I think we're trying to eliminate single-use plastics by a certain year, things like that, right? Helpful for the environment. What would be some suggestions from us, the public, as far as energy is concerned? You know, do we need to, instead of looking at a hotel up at Morgan's Point, use that space for some windmills, right? Do we need to say to landlords that they need to provide solar for their tenants? I don't know what it's going to look like cost-wise as well, but what are some ideas, folks? What do you think? Now, keep in mind, the government has been asking you for feedback on quite a few things. So just consider, because, you know, they like to say you all complain, consider this one of those consultations where they're not just going to make decisions for you, but you're going to have a say. So what are some solutions to Bermuda's energy? I really think I like the idea that Sanchez said earlier about the windmills. And, you know, what is it, Cross Island, you said?
Right. I was actually also going to say we're surrounded by water. What about the offshore wind power? You know what I mean? Like it's going to be expensive. I don't know who's going to pay for it, but it is another option. Cross Island. We are trying to figure out what to do with that space. What is it being used for at this this present time, other than when COGP comes back to Bermuda. It's a perfect space for it.
Yeah, it could eventually help bring costs down for electricity. What are some solutions to Bermuda's energy? Traveling Trotty says mandatory recycling. Was it mandatory at one point, or people were just recycling?
Well, I think the problem with that is that we don't, what happens to that waste after we put it together in order for it to be recycled? Getting it out of the island in order for it to be recycled is a huge cost as well, right? So I think that's why it's not pushed as much as it is in other areas, because we're a small place. Like, how do we get it out? It's a cost associated with that.
Yeah, interesting. I think in New Jersey it was mandatory. Here in Florida, I don't think recycling is mandatory, but we do it. But that's an interesting, because I remember back in the day, separate bags for recycling, and then something happened. I don't know if anyone else remembers, but I remember it was a big thing in Bermuda at one time. Everyone wanted to be a champion for recycling, right?
When I moved over to New Jersey, I had to shift my whole mindset, because I remember, like, my first month, I was throwing stuff in. People were looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Like, you have to recycle.
Yeah.
So it totally changed my mindset.
Yeah, I think it might be a fine if you don't in New Jersey. Yeah. What are some solutions to Bermuda's energy? Traveling Charlie says we generate a lot of trash as a small country and need to take better care of our own trash. I learned this when I don't know if he's still doing it, but Charles Brown, the brother of the late Walton Brown, was overseeing the sustainability within government, and I didn't realize that we generated, and he gave the numbers, but it was high per capita, like it was crazy. Rosalind Famous says, as an island, it is vital for us to be on the cutting edge of climate change solutions to protect our natural resources. Indeed, I agree. So,
you know what I learned recently, and one has nothing to do with the other, just talking about climate change, that we in Bermuda do not have any more of the seagrass. Remember when you used to go swimming and that grass used to be on your toes and you used to be like, yuck?
You mean like seaweed?
Like, not seaweed, but the sea grass. So when you go to certain beaches, like, they used to have like the grass at the bottom of the
I think like pontoons.
Right. So now they are having to put cages up in order to try to regrow that grass, because it's so important for our ecosystem. I just learned that recently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But Sancha, you said something earlier again. You just coming with it this morning. We're surrounded by water. I mean, hello.
We are. I don't understand why we can't have offshore wind power.
I think it's going to take a conscious group of people to lead Bermuda towards energy and sustainable solutions.
Yeah.
Whether or not we have those people leading us now, I'm not sure. But right now, if there's no better time to look at alternative solutions to Bermuda's energy situation. Karen Simmons says wind power, solar energy, recycling, composting, yes, sustainable fuel, reusing oil from restaurants to power vehicles. These are solutions.
Yeah. You know what? Another thing is, when I know when you send your kids to school, it may seem minor. When I first started sending Maddox to Summersfield, I was just like, these people, are they serious? His lunch has to be trashless. So when I'm packing him, it cannot have a plastic bag, or everything has to be. So they're not going and creating all of this trash and putting all this stuff in the trash. So now I'm really mindful about how I pack things, and even what I buy, to make sure that it doesn't have all this packaging, and it reduces the waste. And I think if we instill that at a young age, they grow up knowing that, and that's just how they operate, and it kind of helps us across the board, because it becomes a way of life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. That's leadership in that space. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to give away our second prize of the day as well, so stick with us. But continue if you'd like. Put your replies. What are some solutions to Bermuda's energy problem? We'll be right back after this short break. Stick with us.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. If you appreciate this morning's discussion and focus, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share these conversations so that our community can honestly take these conversations to the water cooler, to the office, to your family barbecue, and really discuss solutions to the very things that we're facing in Bermuda. It's time for thanks again to One Communications, Linda's Medical House, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can have these conversations with you and engage the way we do. Time for the Daily Play brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sandra, are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. It's a Who Said It. This quote is from a Grammy Award winner. Quote, "I don't like to gamble, but if there's one thing I'm willing to bet on, it's myself." End quote.
That sounds like Kanye. No, Jay-Z. No, I don't know. Bet on yourself. That's not Jay-Z? No? Who, Viola Davis?
Well, you got close. You got close. It's Mrs. Jay-Z.
Okay.
Beyonce.
That is one of the quotes. I know I talk about when I used to be around that group a lot. And that's one of the quotes that bet on yourself. It's like a whole line. It's a whole, it created so much marketing around it. So yeah, that makes sense.
Beyonce. She
Apparently I'm not part of the Beehive because I would have known that.
yeah, you ain't part of the Beehive. Yeah,
I love
Beehive. Well, she set a record last night, apparently. Still didn't win that big one she really wants, I think, the album of the year. But she set a record, winning the most Grammys all time last night. So congratulations to her. We've got, let's go back to, got a couple of comments just want to run through. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, solution, we need to stop talking about renewable energy and do it. How many times do we see articles in the RG talking about windmills, solar panels, etc.? Do it, I agree. Manuela John says, recycling seems to take off well. When it was initiated in Bermuda, recycling bags were free for a while. Yes, I remember. I'm telling you, that was a big thing. It was cool to do it. Karen Simmons says, allow patrons to bring their own reusable containers to carry food and beverages out from establishments and be rewarded for sustainable options. There you go, like we do the bags.
Jamal, should we tell everybody about the aha moment that I had when I messaged you that day about the blue bags? Because maybe other people may have it too.
Please.
I did not realize, and people do not judge me, that those blue bags that they give you at Lindo's are for recycling. I didn't. I don't take them because I have my own bags. But when we had KBB on, I was like, it just light bulb went off in my head. I don't have to go and buy blue bags. Those blue bags are for recycling. Jamal, I'm sure it's one person on here that didn't realize it too. happened?
I'm judging you, player. I'm judging you. I'm judging you. Folks, do better than Sandra. Do better than Sandra. Do better than Sandra. Actually, real quickly, speaking, yes, Lizzo won Record of the Year. I think about damn time was it. I don't care about award shows, but I do. I just think, and I'll tell you what really made me not care last night is Chris Brown's response. And I'll tell you, when we wake up and do this show, it's not a damn award I have in my mind. Not like there's any in Bermuda that makes sense, but I think we do it because we believe that we're doing something that's going to help people, that's going to make a difference, that's going to improve our community. Chris Brown's response to the brother winning the R&B section last night was everything that I hate about Black people, awards, and entitlement. Everything. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google it.
I had to go back and watch.
No, it wasn't on the show. Again, I follow on Twitter.
Okay, on Twitter.
Like his response is, "Who the bleep is this guy? Never heard of him. What I got to do?" Bro, you literally out here for awards? You don't love what you do? You don't love what you do, how it makes people feel?
I think Chris has been through a lot though, and we have to understand from his standpoint, he is being bashed so hard. Like this is a whole conversation for another day.
Yeah. We gotta run, folks. But
Yeah.
for some people showing you love out there, though.
Because not everybody knew this, so I think that we just enlightened people. Those blue bags are for recycling.
Yeah. Final thoughts on today's discussion. We had BELCO, and then we had energy solutions.
Well, I mean, where it pertains to BELCO is so many things right now that we're not happy about, and we can't keep putting the blame on them. At some point, as I keep saying, as a country, we need to come together and figure out solutions and move in a different direction. We don't like something. We're not happy with how we're being treated. There's not a month that goes by that I don't see somebody complaining about their BELCO bill and the monopoly that they have over us and all of those things. So at what point are we going to turn those words into actions? I don't know where the money comes from or how we even begin it. But like I said, there are options, like wind options. We're right next to the water. The solar panels seem to be taken off, but we need other solutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say this much. I'm looking forward to seeing the follow-up from the regulatory authority. At the end of the day, as someone said earlier, you don't congratulate a fish for fishing. I mean, for swimming, sorry. You don't congratulate a fish for swimming. That's what they do, right? The idea that we believe that this was uncontrollable, the idea that we put in our heads it's beyond the control of anyone. It's not a natural disaster. It's not a hurricane. It's not an earthquake. It's not a tornado. It's not a tsunami. This is an issue that should not happen. And people need to be held accountable. What does accountability look like? It looks like ensuring these people understand what went wrong and ensure it never happens again. It doesn't need to be necessarily a fine or someone losing their job. It doesn't need to be extreme, but it needs to be, something needs to be done to ensure this doesn't happen. As far as energy solutions, I think we all have ideas. It's not rocket science. We know what needs to be done. We just need to do it. We have another winner. So this past weekend's question was, which one of the Daily Hour hosts went to school with Premier David Burt?
Can I guess?
Well, who was it?
You.
No, it was not me. I did not go to school with David Burt. It was Phil. Phil went to school with David Burt. Someone said me. No, David and I did not go to school together.
Okay.
Phil and David went to military school together. And so that's the answer. And the winner was another TDH community member. we've got Michelle White. Congratulations to you. So Michelle, you want to send us an email, engage@thedailyhour.com. And again, another $50 gift voucher to the winner. So Faith Teresa Gilks and Michelle White are today's winners. If you'd like a chance to win, all you got to do is sign up for the TDH community, either hit join on the YouTube channel, on our website, answer correctly to be eligible, and they both will receive a $50 gift certificate to whatever partner of the Daily Hour they want. That would be One Communications, People's Pharmacy, and Mac, actually, Lenders, or Medical House. So engage at dailyhour.com. Sancha, you got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. We think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. And that's Mother Teresa.
I like that. All right.
I feel like we're in a different state of poverty. Like you look at what's going on around us and our island. No, we're not poor, but it's a different type of poverty that we're experiencing.
It's a moral one.
Yeah.
Morally bankrupt.
Moral poverty. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, make sure you register to become a member of the TDH community. Don't forget, just fill out the application on our website, thedailyhour.com, or through our YouTube channel by hitting the join button. We have a lot of rewarding things happening this month you don't want to miss. You want to go shopping with Sancha and I. She's got expensive taste, so you might want to hang with me. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we will be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sancha Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and a great day. We are is out. Peace.